and welcome to Camp 132. This is going to be a series of pre-lab lectures where I explain kind of the nuts and bolts of how to set up the equipment, why we're setting up the equipment the way that we are, maybe some safety reminders, just to get you really ready for lab so that we save time in lab and then we can even do more than we might have been able to do initially. And a lot of the extra things that we might be able to do will involve student choice. So you will be able to ask your own kinds of questions, which is a process that we call inquiry, and you'll be able to sort of tailor the investigations to what might actually interest you. So just a little heads up about how these videos are going to go. You will have videos for your labs that you'll watch before you get to lab. And so the order that I'd recommend you to prepare your labs are first to read the lab, and read over any of the text from our textbook or from Gen Chem. Review your Gen Chem notes that are relevant because there is a lot of information that is still Gen Chem, but we're applying it to organic systems. Watch these videos with my friendly face, and then ask questions. Any questions you may have about the content or the material or the lab setup, and also consider your resources. So we have Tali Luma in the library. She is very generous with her time and how to cite things and how to find resources. We have the Academic Resource Center, which is where you go. It's in Building 1 on the second floor, right when you get off from the stairs. That will give you a lot of free tutoring from instructors. And then we also have the peer mentor program, which is free. And I'm a resource, come to my office hours, and then you guys are also your own resources. So always work together, collaborate in teams, collaborate on labs, ask each other questions in labs, and then also do homework problems together. Do a lot of the projects in groups. Even if you are turning in your own assignment, it's still helpful to work with a team. Then you will take a pre-lab quiz associated with each lab. So before you do the lab, you'll take a quiz, and each instructor will have a certain baseline that they'll want you to be at before you do the lab. And then before the very first lab, which is coming up, and it's exciting, and it's Vesper, and it's new organic stuff, alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. Before the first lab, you'll want to review the safety information at the front of your manual. So everyone should have a manual. It's required, and the only manual that we can get is at the urban bookstore. And so everyone will need to have their own manual. Let your instructor know if they were sold out. And then your instructor will go over, you'll get a tour of the lab, and you'll get all the safety features of the lab, like where the fire extinguisher is, where you should exit if there's a fire. But it's always good to review safety information. And then goggles. We do have goggles if you don't buy your own. They're available at the bookstore for $10. But it's always good to have your own pair of goggles because the ones that we have sometimes have given people pink eye in the past. So actually it's a good idea to get your own. And you'll always need to be wearing goggles when you're in the lab and there's anything out. Any safety equipment or glassware or chemicals, you'll need to have your goggles on. And then last but not least, there's a very thorough description on page 2 of the clothes that you'll need to wear each and every time that you are in lab. And so it's very serious that you need to be covered kind of from shoulder down to your ankles. You need to have closed-toed shoes. And so you'll always want to abide by the safety information to make sure that your instructor will let you into the lab to be able to do the lab. So this is just a heads up, and then the next video is going to cover lab number 1.